Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, who's a Democrat of Rhode Island and sits on the Senate Judiciary Committee, and he joins me now. It really does seem, it seemed this way before, but I have to say, it seems accelerated to me, and I wonder if you feel this way too, since the departure of Pam Bondi and Todd Blanche filling in, who's now been nominated for the role. It seems like there's a whiteboard somewhere and markers of who Trump wants to target, and they're just kind of going down the list and ginning up what they need to. Is that how it looks to you?
Well, I think there are two things going on. One is I think Trump feels his presidency skidding away from him. His numbers are crashing. Even Republicans in Congress are starting to stand up against him. He can just feel that his presidency is failing, and so that adds to his sense of desperation. And then he's got his stooge, Todd Blanche, basically auditioning to be the next attorney general. He's going to have to go through one hell of a confirmation. He's going to want Trump to be able to overlook a lot of stuff. So building cred with Trump by going after his enemies is kind of the strategy. But, you know, you're right. You looked at Jim Comey, you looked at Letitia James, you looked at my 6 colleagues who are veterans who talked about soldiers' rights to disobey unlawful orders. Fed Chair Powell, they went after him. Bill Pulte's Little Shop of Horrors produced Lisa Cook and Adam Schiff. Over and over and over again, you see these cases, and when they go forward, they fall to smithereens. Next up is probably the Southern Poverty Law Center. I don't predict a good outcome for that. And the upshot of all of this is the Department of Justice has lost something really important to it and to all of us, and that is the presumption of regularity. The government enjoyed a presumption of regularity until President Trump and his phony baloney attorneys general.
There is some reporting about some other things that have been happening out behind the scenes of the Department of Justice and above in the administration, including some reporting from the New York Times about a discussion about whether to suspend habeas corpus that happened during the kind of mass deportation push and the federal push into Minnesota. Inside the White House, Stephen Miller saw an opening for an idea he'd raised previously. What if Trump simply claimed the power to suspend habeas corpus? Then the locked up immigrants would be blocked from receiving hearings or even from seeking court orders to prevent their removal. This was an opportunity for Trump not only to speed up deportations, also assert vastly expanded power of a legal system that was getting his way. Ultimately, it didn't happen, but you also have to feel like this is an idea that's still hanging out there. What is your reaction to that reporting, and how concerned are you that that one comes back around in the carousel?
Yeah, it's just bonkers and bizarre, Chris. I mean, habeas corpus goes back before the Revolutionary War, before the founding of our country, back into English common law. It's customarily referred to as the Great Writ. And the writ of habeas corpus is what lets you avoid being just thrown into a dungeon by somebody with no redress. It was part of the casus belli for our revolution. It was in the complaint list that the founders wrote, justifying why they would have to sever their ties with England. And, you know, if you go back in history to when it's been either violated or suspended, you've got Lincoln in the middle of a civil war using it rarely with rebels in arms, and then ultimately backstopped with a congressional act. And you had Roosevelt for 6 German saboteurs who came ashore on Long Island to blow stuff up and kill Americans. They were executed by military tribunal instead of proper habeas corpus in civil courts. It's an extremely rare thing to mess with. People don't do it. And even when it's rare, Congress is supposed to be involved. So this notion that somewhere in the Oval Office, they've got this idea cooked up that they're going to somehow get around the Great Writ and not bother to go to Congress. I mean, it's kind of crazy madcap, but it also shows the wild levels of hatred and vindictiveness against people that they want to do that to people who are here in this country.
Senator Sheldon Whitehouse is on that Judiciary Committee and is going to have its work cut out for it in the months and years ahead. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.